Hello, welcome to the Caffeinated Cast-Ons YouTube channel. I'm Therese, also known as Caffeinated Cast-Ons. You can find me on Instagram as @CaffeinatedCast-Ons, and this is just my video version of my Ravelry project pages. It's been really fun to just document my knitting, my progress, and just different thoughts, and I think you might be able to hear my vacuum. Just a second. I closed the door, so hopefully you can't hear it and it doesn't bump into the doors in this room. Anyways, I'm a North Texas based knitter, and this is just a fun outlet for me to share my knitting and talk about projects with you. As the caffeinated part, I do have my cup of coffee. This is my first cup of coffee for the day. I've reheated it multiple times. It's been a busy day. Speaking of which, it is Friday, June 28th. I feel like this week went by really fast, and it probably went by fast because of work has been super busy. I'm trying to button some things up before I go on PTO for a little bit. So I am excited, and I'm excited for this week's video. So grab your beverage of choice. Grab your knitting if you want to knit while you watch this, and we've got a lot to talk about today. In today's video, we're going to talk about finished objects, new cast-ons, July knitting plans, because July is here apparently. And yeah, it should be a fun one. I'm really excited to show some finished objects. I did get a new bag of coffee in, and I don't think I showed it last week. Yeah, because it just came in. But I'm just drinking pour over coffee with some creamer. It's good. It's a must-have. I will probably have another cup of coffee later today, if I'm being honest. I mentioned we have finished objects. I've got 2 finished objects this week, and let me show you what they are. Finished object number 1 is a pair of socks, and look how beautiful they are. These are a pair of ribbed vanilla socks, and it's just a 2x2 rib, and this is my first pair that I have finished for Summer Sock Camp 2024. If you're not familiar with what Summer Sock Camp is, look up the Crazy Sock Lady on YouTube or Instagram, and you can find all the information there. It's just a fun make-along. I do need to enter these for prizes because there are prizes that you can do. I need to enter these because I have not entered them yet. I've done it on Instagram, but I want to do it on Ravelry too. Anyways, so I finished these 2x2 ribbing socks, and I just realized I made a mistake in part of the row. Anyways, I can't remember when I finished these. Why can't I think? Let me take another sip of coffee. All right, let's break down the sock. I did 60 rounds for the leg, because usually I would do probably around 20 rounds for the cuff. So I did that, and then just 40 more rounds. So just 40 rounds of 2x2 ribbing. I did a heel flap and gusset, and then just continued the ribbing on the top half of the sock and the bottom of the foot, just straight stockinette. I love these so much. I'm so excited how this color knit up. If you've been watching, you know I really wanted to use this yarn on socks. I tried to do a lace pattern sock. It did not work out multiple times. And so I just pulled it out and decided to do ribbing instead, because this color is so beautiful and it knit up so beautifully. I do need to block them just so the ribbing lays better, but so these are unblocked. I just put them on the blockers so you could see that. That was finished object number 1. All the details can be found below in my Ravelry project pages link. I did these magic loop. Yarn is Suburban Stitcher in the colorway Cosmopolitan on just their sock base. Finished object number 2 is another pair of socks. And these are a pair of DK weight socks. So this is my second pair that I have finished for summer sock camp. And I've never done a pair of DK weight socks before. And I wanted to try them this year. One, to try it. I had some DK yarn that I got in a box from a sock yarn swap over last holiday season, I believe. And in Summer Lee's sock project book, she had a pair of DK socks that had a rolled cuff. And I really liked that rolled cuff. And then I just kind of, between her pattern and the Crazy Sock Ladies DK pattern, I just knit these up. I want to say 30 rounds for the leg. And then the heel flap and gusset. And then I think I did 60, no, that's wrong. I did 50 something rounds for the foot. But these knit up very quickly. I probably could have finished them faster if they were the only sock I was working on, just because the counts are lower since it is a thicker yarn than your regular fingering weight yarn. The yarn, I don't have the exact name for it. I want to say it is an Oopsie skein from Sorella. So I don't know the color. I don't know what collection it's from. It's just what I had in my stash, and it looked so cozy in these thicker socks. They are so comfortable. I put them on and they just feel so cute and cozy. And so I can't wait for it to eventually cool down and get cool in Texas. That's not going to be till like maybe October here. If you know North Texas weather, everyone jokes like we're still preheating. Like, it is hot, but we are still preheating. So over this next like month and a half, it's still gonna get really hot, which I am not looking forward to. I've lived in Texas my whole life and I will never get used to this heat. But yeah, but I still wear socks around the house. So I will wear these soon. Those are the only two objects that I finished this past week. I am very pleased, just so I can get some socks off the needles and cast on more socks. So I do have 2 new cast-ons, and that is more socks. The first sock that I had cast on after I finished the rib socks, I am working on a 9-inch circular, and it is these fun, like, I guess I'm gonna kind of do color blocking with these. It's just kind of random. And this is from a sock set that I got from the Creative Knitter. And it says hand dyed in Ontario, Canada. So that is fun. And this is the Creative Sock Base, the Neon Sidewalk Chalk sock set. So it is an 80-20 mix of superwash merino and 20% nylon. So it came with a 100-gram skein and then a bunch of 10-gram minis. So this is the full skein caked up. And you can see all the different color speckles that it has in there. And the fun part is that it came with these minis. It came with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I just split them in half. They were about 10 or 11 grams each. And so I just split them in half into 2 different bags so I can work the socks evenly. I just kept the skein in whole because I'm only going to use this for the heel and the toe. So I knew I didn't need to worry about that being split up. But I have the cuff done. This is 20 rounds of 2x2 rib. And then I've got 25, 25 rounds of this blue color. And that uses just about 5 grams, I think, is how much I split them up into. Where's the tail? Like, here's the tail of where I stopped in that blue. And I did the heel flap and the turn. So now I'm ready to pick up gusset stitches, and I'm just deciding what color I want to start next whenever I pick the sock back up. I'm thinking purple. And that's really pretty. Oh, and it looks really similar to what was left over. No, it doesn't. Kind of, but yeah, but I think I'm going to do purple next and pick that up. So that's the first sock. I feel like it's gone really, really fast. That's fun. I also forgot to mention that I did have some yarn left over from both my ribbed pair of socks and my DK socks. For my ribbed socks, I had about, I think it was 40 grams left over, maybe a little bit more. This is about 20-ish of it. The other 20-ish I have put in a Ziploc bag to go into my DK jelly blanket that I'm knitting up, and this is for a friend. For my DK yarn, I think I had about 20 grams left over if I'm remembering correctly, and I just put that straight into my DK jelly blanket stash. I am going to include it because I am holding fingering weight double to get a DK weight for that blanket, and I'm not too concerned about it. It's a scrappy blanket anyways, so I'm just going to include that DK scrap in there so I can have it. Other than that, I would have nothing to use it for, and I'd rather it be used than to be just sitting on my shelf. Yeah. My next new cast on is another sock, and I'm really excited about this one. So originally, the yarn that I have, let me show you the yarn first. So it is ZZ Textiles. And this is in her sock set Patina. And you can see why it is named Patina. It is so gorgeous. Gorgeous. That kind of minty sea foamy green blue and those copper. And then this was the contrast color that came in the sock set. Originally, I wanted to do a pair of Rhinebeck Roomies in these. I've knit a pair of those before and I really liked them. But last week someone had commented that I should check out the Rye sock pattern by Tin Can Knits. And that sounded familiar, and so I looked in my little binder of sock patterns and I already have the pattern. And so I was like, well, this is perfect. Let me do it. And so I cast that on, and it is looking so good. I'm also doing this on 9-inch circulars. I only have 2 9-inch circular needles. Ideally, I would have wanted to be working the same sock. Like, so do the cuff of that neon sock and then cast on the second cuff of the neon sock and work it that way. But I really wanted to do this one on 9-inch as well. So I need to order more 9-inch needles. Maybe I'll do that this weekend. I have a gift card to a yarn store and maybe I'll do that. Anyways, but it looks so good. I did the cuff, and I did a shorter cuff on this one. I only did 15 rounds. The pattern calls for just 1x1 rib, but I did a 2x2 rib. And originally I cast on with a contrast color to do a pop of color, and I did the 1x1 rib, and it just wasn't sitting the way I wanted it to. So I ripped that out and recast it on, which is not a problem. And then I don't know if you can tell, but it has like, let me see. It has like garter on kind of like the front of the foot, and then on the back it's just stockinette. It's a little hard to tell right now because it's kind of rolling up on itself, but it looks so good. I'm so excited to keep knitting on this. It's a super easy 2-pattern repeat. And one of those just being a knit round. Like, it's so good. I think I'm really going to enjoy this sock. So I am very excited to keep knitting on this. I think I cast those on 1 or 2 days apart from each other, the neon sock and the rye sock, Just ignore my pile of project bags. Oh, okay. Oh, let me show you one more whip that I was working on this week. And that is my Caffeinated shawl by Casey Knits. Where's my progress keeper? I didn't knit on this as much as I wanted to this past week, because I did really push to finish the 2 socks that I had on my needles previously, and I was so eager to cast on new socks. So I didn't work on it as much as I wanted to. This is my progress keeper from last week. There's the cute little Texas. So maybe about an inch is how much I knit. It's looking really good. It's definitely growing. And this will block out more once I give it a good block and when it's done. So very excited. It's looking really good. I think it's gonna look great on. I'm not gonna wear it anytime soon. Like I mentioned, it is hot. Hot in Texas. Hot in Texas. Yeah, so I mean, it doesn't need to be brushed to be done. Not wearing it anytime soon, but I think I really want to finish this because I'm getting close. I'm more than halfway done with it, but those needles I took from another project that I had cast on, I just need to order more needles. And I really need to get a move on the other project because I kind of have a timeline on that one. So I might put that one on stitch holders just so I can have the needles back. But maybe I'll order more needles so I can work on more projects concurrently. I don't know. I don't think I really need that. I think I'm just going to put it on stitch holders and put that in a little mini hibernation. Maybe, I don't know. Which brings me to the goals that I want to talk about for my July knitting plans. So I have my knitting journal, which is just a plain notebook that I have that has lined paper. Nothing fancy. I don't do a doodle journal, bullet journal, whatever. Not for me. So I have July started to break down. I don't have it fully planned, but I have whips, goals, and finished objects. So far, I've only written down the whips that I have, which is a Holger, I don't know how to pronounce it, baby set, which probably is just going to turn out to be the sweater, because I don't think I'm going to have time. The Caffeinated shawl, square 11 of my Afghan that I have. Again, I'm not going to work on that, but I'm just documenting it as a whip that I have. And then I have those neon color block socks and the rice socks. So that is 2, 4, 5 whips that I am taking into July. Realistically, I'm going to be only working on 2 to 3 of those. So the socks, and I need to get a move on the baby sweater. So I think I'm going to send the Caffeinated shawl into hibernation, just for a brief hibernation so I can make progress on the sweater. I'm not worried about square 11 right now. I'm not going to pick that up. Maybe in August. That way I can even then it's still not getting any cooler in Texas. Yeah, so for his goals, I really don't have any written down. I kind of want to gauge this first week of July to see what I can do, especially since I'm going to be on vacation for a little bit, and see how much knitting I can get done, and then kind of reevaluate what goals I want to set from there. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Yeah. So not really any goals for next week. The only, excuse me. The only goal that I have for next week is to knit as much as possible. And I am so excited. That's what I get to spend my vacation doing. So just knitting as much as possible. Let's see. What else do I need to talk about? Talked about finished objects, whips, new cast-ons. Yeah, not much else going on just besides some PTO that I'm taking, and I'm really looking forward to it just to relax and kind of relieve some stress a little bit. We went to the movies and saw A Quiet Place day 1. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. That's all I can really think of. Yeah, so let's close around out. I thought it was going to be a little bit longer today, but I guess not. I think the coffee's kicking in and I was just like spitting stuff out. Okay. We'll close around out with some 3 simple joys. What are my 3 simple joys? I need some water. Simple joy number 1 is just the stage that my son is at right now. Like, his personality is just really shining through, and he's just so silly. Like, he started like dancing more, and he has a stuffed bear, and he likes to give the bear big hugs, and it's just so fun, and I love it. So that's simple joy number 1. I love my son. Simple joy number 2, breakfast with my family. So we never really went out to eat a lot in the first place, like before we had our son. Most of the time we'd go out like once a week. Usually it was like after church, we'd go get like breakfast or lunch or something. And we really stopped doing that once we had our son. But this past Sunday after church, I was expected just to follow the normal routine, and then my husband was like, let's go get pancakes. And I was like, okay. And so it was just so nice because I think back to like early postpartum. I was like, I can never leave the house. Like, what do we do if he cries? Like, what if there's a dirty diaper? Like, it was very anxious. But just having breakfast together, it was just breakfast out, I should say, was so nice. So that was simple joy number 2. And then simple joy number 3, it doesn't look like it from this background, but simple joy number 3 has just been tidying little places around the house. This is a bad example. But I feel like our house is just always cluttered right now. And over the past week, I have like my little side table nightstand by my bed. And I decluttered that and just like took everything out, wiped it down, put what I needed to have there, put other stuff back in its place. And it was so nice. This is like my office / guest room / catch-all room. So this is a hot mess. Maybe I'll tackle some of this whenever like I'm on my break. But just like, especially like in the main parts of the house where we're at all the time, especially because toys have taken over, like it feels good, especially in the bedroom, because it's like, I can go in, unwind, relax, get ready for bed. So that was super nice. It's so random, but like I said, it's a simple joy. That is all I have for you today. Yeah, I can't believe it's already July. So I need to finish up my work day, get ready, have some errands to do later, lots of work to close up before I go on PTO. So yeah, until next time, stay caffeinated.